Angie Hot and Flashy is the OG, right? She is the first channel I ever started watching on YouTube. I want to see what Angie does because honestly, her under eye area looks fantastic. I know a lot of you are in the same boat as me. You know, recently I did a poll on my channel saying, what's your biggest makeup concern? The #1 answer was under eye area. We're dealing with dark circles. We're dealing with puffiness, with deep wrinkles, with dry, crinkly skin. And honestly, a couple years ago for me, it got to the point where I looked worse with concealer than without it. So honestly, I just abandoned using it. The first step Angie calls out is to moisturize. And she says this can either be carrying your facial moisturizer up under your eyes, or using a specialty moisturizer, and she calls out this CeraVe product. And as you can see, I am gently dabbing and pressing it into my under eye area. The second step is to use sunscreen, and she prefers a tinted or color correcting one. She calls out, and I really like this product from Color Science. The orange tint does a very good job of counteracting any blue or purple darkness under the eye. She suggests letting it set up for 15 minutes. Tip number 3 is less is more. And what she means by this is don't carry your foundation up underneath your eyes. Tip number 4 is to use a primer, and Angie suggested not using a silicone primer because they can be a little slippery. So for this first day I am using the Good Molecules primer, which is non-silicone based. However, she called out a NYX primer that does have dimethicone as the third ingredient, which is a silicone. I will try that one tomorrow, see if it makes a difference. Tip number 5 is to use a lightweight moisturizing concealer, and tip number 6 is to use a small quantity of that. She called out this one from Lancôme. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, and I own it, so I'm using that with a very small angled brush that is nice for getting precision placement of concealer. Tip number 7 from Angie is to blend outward, not inward. And so that means that the pressure is going out toward the edges of your face. I am using a concealer brush from Ulta to blend out the concealer today. The other concealer she mentioned was another one from Lancôme, but this video came out before the Teint Idôle concealer came out. So that is the other concealer that I am using today. Angie's number 8 tip is to check both your 10x mirror but also a regular mirror at arm's length. And I think this is a really good one because I think, like a lot of us, we've got love-hate relationships with our 10x mirror, and honestly, nobody's getting that close to us. Tip number 9 is to use the right setting powder. Angie likes It by Pores, the loose powder, and I have to say I agree. Angie says the key to keeping the creasing at bay is to use powder, but the main point is to use a very small amount. And then number 10 is to press that powder into the concealer, again with an outward movement,
and I noticed then she just tapped off her brush really good and swiped away any excess powder so as to not get dry.
It has actually been 10 hours since I put my makeup on this morning, and I am amazed. The concealer has not settled into my lines. I mean, I'll give you, under my eyes isn't looking fantastic. My makeup isn't looking fantastic, 10 hours. But my number one problem with it caking into my creases and making them look worse, it's not doing that. And like Angie said, our 10x mirror is our best friend and our worst enemy, and that is certainly the case for under eye issues, especially concealer. But you know what? At arm's length, it doesn't look too bad.
On day 2, I wanted to try the other primer Angie mentioned, which is this one from NYX, this Hydra Touch. And today I am using the Armani Luminous Silk Concealer. Another difference today, I am using Angie's concealer brush, as well as the Lancôme Tint Idôle from yesterday.
If you're enjoying this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up down below. Leave me a comment with your favorite concealer.
Here is an 8-hour photo, and yeah, I'm looking awfully tired. The eyes aren't looking great, but not too bad from a distance. And of course, nothing looks good close up. Having said that, the concealer did not settle into wrinkles.
I'm having really good luck with this concealer application method. I am so glad I shot this video and took the time to really nail down these steps from Angie. I have been using it for the past 5 or 6 days and just, trying different powders, right? There's the It by Pores that Angie called out, but I also have the Wayne GOSS powder, which in general, I've really been liking the performance of this as a setting powder with my foundation, and so I was really curious to try this. Also, for the Beautylish event, I picked up this powder from RCMA. I've also really been liking it as a setting powder. So far in trying it out with the concealer, I gotta say Angie's got it. For me, with the dryness under my eyes and everything, the It by Pores has been the best performing under my eyes. So it's been really interesting, figuring that out. And then various concealers. I also think it's interesting that the 2 that I did on day 1, these 2 from Lancôme, the one I won't pronounce and the Tint Idôle, yeah, so far these have been my top performing ones. Not that this was a concealer testing video, but I was really super curious, right? I did not like the KVD. I still don't like it. It wasn't nearly as bad as my review video, but it was still pretty bad. But I tried the NARS Creamy Concealer, the NYX, this one I gotta say I kind of really liked. And then just a couple that I had picked up, one from L'Oreal, this full wear, and then from Liss, this triple fix concealer. Anyway, like I said, this isn't really a concealer review, but some are working better with this methodology than others, and it's just been really fun, honestly, to play around with this and to be having good luck with concealer again. I have just used the 2 primers that I used in this video, the Good Molecules one, which is silicone-free, and the one that Angie called out. I feel like I'm having a little bit better luck with the non-silicone one. I think that's because It holds the concealer in place and doesn't let it slide around as much. And then the last ingredient in the mix, brushes. So I have this little contour brush from Smashbox, and for me this is a great size for getting underneath my eye and pressing that powder in. And then this Sigma brush, which is a powder blush F10, I love for sweeping it away, making sure that any excess powder is gone, so that so that under my eyes doesn't get too dry. So yeah, my bottom line, 2 thumbs up on the application method. I love having another tool in my quiver. I feel like this is giving me concealer back in my routine. And for me, the biggest things, like, no, it's not doing any miracles under my eyes. I do think shooting, because so many of my imperfections get blown out by all my fabulous lighting, it definitely helps. But you know, when I go close up, and I've shown you some of those close-ups, right, under eye still looks like 53-year-old under eye, because it is, but the concealer is not settling into wrinkles. And for me, that's about as good as it's gonna get these days. I think you're gonna like this video right here. It's my review of the KVD Good Apple Concealer. It'll be on the screen in just a moment, along with my playlist of all my foundation and concealer reviews.